Stevie, every week we talk, you're in a different city. So, what is your favorite city you have traveled to, not named Buffalo?
Yeah, right now I'm going to say Niagara Falls takes the cake, man. The energy that I'm feeling from the water, the power, I mean, everything around is pretty smooth, man. And then you get to see Canada on the other side also. So you got options. I love that part of it. What about you, Mike?
I'm gonna go international. I've never had a vibe like I felt when I was in Amsterdam. It was amazing. Highly recommend it to all you people out there. And also, Sammy, hit it.
Hey,
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Bill's Banter with Stevie Johnson and Michael F. Florio.
Fitzpatrick fires. Oh, caught! Steve Johnson! Touchdown, Buffalo! Why so serious?
The sickest Buffalo Bills podcast.
Allen will run it himself. He pumps. Got some daylight. Hurdles to the end zone.
It's gonna be sick.
we back. We back like we never left, huh?
Quick turn. It's not just the players with a quick turnaround this week. Us podcast hosts got it too.
Yeah, got to get it in. You know what I mean? We keep getting our reps in, brother. That's good, though. We got to keep shining.
And look, we'll get right into it with this game. Stevie, how competitive do you think Thursday night will be?
I think it's going to be competitive for sure. I believe it's going to be competitive, but for how long? I would say maybe the first half. The first half is going to be competitive, but then the Miami Dolphins are going to understand that they don't have enough pieces to keep up with this Buffalo Bills team, and then it's just going to be a blowout from there. And I'm assuming a 40 piece. I'm thinking 42 points.
I'm expecting, like, Josh Allen has averaged close to three passing touchdowns per game when he plays the Dolphins. That's an average. Like,
that's an average. And you got to think about it. Last week, he didn't score a rushing or a passing touchdown. So I think he's going to explode Thursday night. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of Bills Mafia happy after this game.
The big news in this game this week, Stevie, no Ed Oliver, no Matt Milano. Those are two huge pieces of the Bills defense, which is why I think if it is competitive for the first half, like you said, I think Devon Achane is the player the Bills need to circle on defense because he could get you in the run game. He could get you in the receiving game. He is fast, shifty, hard to tackle, and now you're missing two of your front seven key pieces.
Yeah, Devon Achane is definitely the guy that I recognize as the main target for the Buffalo Bills to identify on that Miami Dolphins offense. Aside from that, you do have names also like Tyreek Hill, like the Jalen Waddle. So I'm looking forward to seeing our DBs step up and make a name. Although our guys, Matt Milano and Ed Oliver, will be down. I'm so sad to hear that Matt Milano is out with that pec. It's just, man, the guy can't get a break. But this week, I believe, is going to be the defensive backs week. It's not going to have anything to do with the front line in the linebacker core. It's going to be all defensive back work this Thursday night. And I'm looking forward to seeing who steps up, who's going to be the guy to make that interception.
Look, I know the talking point right now around the Dolphins is that they're struggling to get the ball downfield. Tyreek Hill had his first catch of over 20 yards last week in a year, which is insane. But I said this to someone today, Stevie. I don't care. You could tell me how much they're struggling and everything. The Bills and myself personally have been victimized by Tyreek Hill so many times in the past that he could have 0 yards coming into the game. I'm going to be fearful of him.
Yeah, for sure. And then that's the respect. You know, the guy like that, he's fully healthy. You know, I don't know any injuries that he's dealing with, so he's always a threat. However, I just feel like you can't go to Tyreek Hill every single play. You need a guy like Mahomes. You need those other guys on their team, the Travis Kelce's, et cetera, to, you know, lead the way. And then you have that threat of Tyreek Hill. I don't see a team stacked like the Kansas City Chiefs of old that he was on, so I'm not going to be worried at all. I don't want to sound too disrespectful to them, Mike. You know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is. We can dive into the what ifs if we want to, but blowout.
I got some of these stats here that show you that you're not being disrespectful. You're just reporting kind of on what's happened, right? The Bills have won 6 straight against Miami, 9 straight at home, and 15 of the last 17 games. Josh Allen is 8-1 head-to-head against Tua. Sean McDermott has the second best winning percentage against one opponent in NFL history. Mike McDaniel is 1-11 in his last 12 games versus teams that are 2 games or more over 500. And lastly, Mike McDaniel's offenses are 0-4, and they've never scored more than 17 points when on 3 days rest. So
Hey, Guru.
It's not like we're out here picking on the Dolphins. We're just telling you what we've seen recently, and that is that when these teams get together, the Bills usually come out on top, and it's usually not all that pretty.
Right, Guru. And I'm going to add to that because you threw out some great numbers. Hey, that team is also giving up 33 points a game. You know, so it's hard to get a victory in the NFL when you're giving up 30 points. You know, so yeah, it's just the inevitable. I feel like the Miami Dolphins is going to take this L, and they'll just have to keep learning from it. They'll have to just reset, is what I'll say. And you know, I will want to go in more in depth, but let's bring it to our Why So Serious segment of the week. Hey, Sammy, hit it.
Why so serious?
Yeah, shout out to Sammy being back. Hey, big shout out to Shane also doing his thing. But for our Why So Serious segment of the week, it just made sense to roll into it, man. I'm going to say, will Josh Allen and company rest from the third quarter on to the rest of the game? That is going to be my Why So Serious segment. Let's watch and see. Will it be the third quarter when Josh and co rest, or will it be fourth quarter? Or will the Miami Dolphins shake the world and make it a thriller all the way to the end? We'll see. But that's my Why So Serious take, Mike. What you think about that?
I think there's a very high chance that we see Josh Allen and co sitting in the fourth quarter. I will say. I wanted to ask you on that, though, because, look, I'm a little bit of a pot stirrer sometimes. And so last week I'm watching the games, and look, the Bills are up 4 scores at this point, and Josh Allen sitting on the sideline, holding the pads like he does, having a good time. And there's like 14 minutes still on the clock. Then I looked at, and I don't mean any disrespect to the player in this regard, but it's just narratives and stuff. I look at the Ravens, and they're up 3-4 scores, and Lamar is out there pouring it on. And now, I don't think either approach is wrong. It's whatever the team wants to do, and I get it. The Ravens are like, we need to put this game away. We don't feel comfortable. But I think it skews the stats and stuff when you're looking at the MVP. Do you like that they give Josh the full fourth quarter off in games like this, or do you wish they kind of let him get a little bit more play, and so at the end of the year, it's not like, oh, hey, this guy sat 12 quarters or whatever it was last year?
You know, for me personally, as a player and seeing the development that Josh Allen has made, I'm happy with seeing him get that rest. You know, I think that's the neutralizer for this team, because this is a long season. And in order to have guys healthy and fresh towards the end, you got to blow teams out and then be able to rest your players. And another thing that's to take in consideration is Josh being able to sacrifice those stats and those numbers, because all the while Lamar Jackson is playing to get more and more numbers and more stats, I still feel like they're learning how to win games towards the end. So that's why Lamar Jackson is still in the game, as opposed to Josh, who he knows how to win games, whether it's with his feet, with his arm, or whether not scoring at all. So that's a benefit for the Buffalo Bills and what they've grown to become. So it's 2 different teams, 2 different mindsets. And I think it's only going to benefit the Buffalo Bills if they continue to dominate teams and rest their star players during those games, so they can be healthier towards the end of the season.
I feel like you. I'm like, I love the rest. I think it is a good thing. You don't want to risk injury, all of that. I hated how last year when it was the MVP race, it was like, look at Allen, and I'm like, well, if he was out there in those blowouts,
Right,
that probably look a lot similar. So I think that needs to be factored in. But I did want to ask you, because we keep both of us expect. Look, not only the Dolphins giving up, what'd you say, 33 points per game?
33.
30 is a down game for the Bills offense, right? So, like, if they're going to be pouring on points like that, who do you think is the player or players that really steps up on in the receiving game?
In the receiving game, I'm going to say All of them. All of them. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Khalil Shakir is going to get a touchdown. He's going to get back acclimated into the offense. I believe Josh Palmer is going to get a score. And I want to say Keon so bad right now, but something's telling me that the tight ends is going to get loose and maybe another receiver is going to make a play, like a running play with Elijah Moore. Who knows? But yeah, I want to say Keon so bad, but it's like the obvious. I want to go with something different. So I'm gonna say 2 tight ends will score and a wide receiver that we don't
Keon
expect
Coleman
to score. Yeah, that not named Keon will score. But Keon will have a big game though. He will set the mark and set the pace early.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping they come out and aggressively target Keon. Like,
yeah.
I get that last week you didn't have to. I also think the Jets showed a lot of respect to Keon Coleman because over half of his snaps, Sauce Gardner was on. So, to me, that's wide receiver 1 treatment, right? And I think that is a good sign for Keon, but I want more usage. I don't want it to have to come in the fourth quarter against the Ravens only. But to your point on the tight ends, I do think Dalton Kincaid is a sneaky one in this game. I think it went under the radar that he was the top target for the Bills last week because the running game is what got all the attention. But it reminds me of early last season before he got hurt. Josh was leaning on Kincaid a good amount. So I think he is a little bit of an underrated piece right now. And Stevie, while we're talking about the Bills receivers, Tyreek Hill has more career receiving yards than the entire Bills receiver room combined.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, it makes sense though also because he was playing with Patrick Mahomes, who's great at playing off script, which is what Josh Allen has learned to do. And we saw that. Oh, when did Josh Allen ever go off script? Well, when the offense was stagnant, and then he came back out there and did what he's supposed to do to get the offense flowing. That's going off of script without being disrespectful, and that's a great level to see from Josh Allen. And yeah, you know, that's a wild stat with Tyreek Hill and all of the Bills receivers. Let's think about it. You know, Josh Palmer, he was in L.A. behind Keenan Allen, behind Lad McConkey, behind Quentin Johnson. I don't want to say behind like that, but those guys was getting a lot of the reps and a lot of the targets. So that kind of makes sense. So I'm happy that we have a guy like Josh Palmer who's seasoned in the league, very healthy, and doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on him. So that's a good thing, you know. And everybody else is young and been getting acclimated, like Khalil Shakir. They'll probably point out first. Yeah, he was building up his name only 3 years ago, you know, and look at where he is now with a new contract and one of the highest pays on the team. So, you know, the team has just been building and they've been doing it their way. So that's the good thing to see about what Triple B and McDermott has been doing, Mike.
While we're talking on Tyreek Hill, as a star receiver yourself, I would love to get your opinion on this. But something I've said a lot is I think if you talk about like best receiver of Tyreek Hill's generation, like Devontae Adams' name is going to get thrown out. Now we got like Jefferson and Chase and CeeDee Lamb. But I think Tyreek Hill is the most influential wide receiver of his time. And what I mean by that is I think when he's on the field, it changes more than if any other receivers on the field. Because I'm a big believer that 13 seconds happened because McDermott and the Bills were like, we've already seen Tyreek beat us on a catch and run for 75 yards. We're going to put everyone back. And that allowed Travis Kelce to get open underneath. You might feel completely different, but I just think the speed and the fear factor that Tyreek puts into defensive coordinators changes everything.
Yeah, and that definitely changed everything. I was so confused while we was playing off. You gotta think about it though. You know, a guy like that has also had success. Yeah, it strikes fear, but at the same time, you gotta match fire with fire. You can't win being scared. You gotta have guys lined up to jam and press them. You know, giving the guy a free look is like playing flag football. You know, and in flag football, what is it? It's entertainment unlimited because it's like all offense. So I didn't understand not being physical with him. He wants you to be scared. He trains and work out so that you can be scared and back off. And it's so much easier. He don't want the person that's physical and that's gonna give him problems. You know, and that's how you gotta adjust to fast receivers and guys like that. And we'll see if the Bills can get used to it now, because we'll be seeing versions of these guys later on in the season.
Tyreek Hill to me is kind of like a LeBron James in the sense of like, like Steph Curry, you could be like, all right, you could try to shoot like him and stuff. Like, if you're not born with it, good luck trying to beat Tyreek Hill. There's he's the only guy that fast at that size and stuff like that. But while we're talking Tyreek and all these other top wide receivers, do you have like a favorite receiver to watch in the NFL?
Yeah, my favorites is, again, Keenan Allen. I like watching Keenan. I like watching Devontae. I like watching the new guy as far as Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown. A guy last year who I just picked up was Darnell Mooney, a guy who everybody may not talk about, but I appreciated him because his route IQ. He can run a route tree really well. His stem, the way he stem his routes is pretty smooth, and I just want to see more reps out of him. For now, those are like the top 5 guys. There's more, of course, but those 5 guys are the ones that I check out all the time.
And speaking of Darnell Mooney, you heard it here first. Stevie has him as a sleeper in fantasy this week.
Yeah, that's my sleeper guy. He'll be getting some reps this week, and hopefully he can get us some points so I can talk some more about him. We'll see how things go right now.
In fantasy this week, because we got to look ahead to our fantasy league as well, Stevie, you have your hands full this week. You are the 2-0 Get Open Dogs face the 2-0 Team FaZe. You guys are not just both 2-0. You are the top 2 teams, I believe, in points scored so far. So it's week 3. This is like Bills-Ravens week 1, but we're getting to week 3 now in our fantasy league.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I'm going up against Drake May, who's going to be playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, so hopefully they can play better than they did against Justin Fields. So I'm hoping to get that one locked in. I'm hoping James Conner or John Connor don't take off against the San Francisco 49ers. And that should get me right, But it's going to be a matchup. It's going to be a good match. Team FaZe, shout out to FaZe, 2-0 doing this thing. But we strong. The dogs are strong.
Did you see the big development this week?
The big development? What's going on?
Keenan Allen projected for 13. They heard you and they upped it. 13.
Come on.
That's respectable,
That's respectable. Now we in the double digits. You can't disrespect the Slayer, man. He ain't been doing nothing but coming out and killing DBs. You know what I mean? Respectfully. Touchdowns each week. I think the past 2 weeks he had a touchdown.
Yeah.
And definitely been leading our team with double-digit fantasy points. And now they finally upped it up. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
And the Chargers look like they might be a team the Bills have to worry about because we know Ladd is great. We know Keenan is great. But Quentin Johnson looks like a year 3 breakout guy too. So they got 3 good weapons potentially.
That's why it's so good that we're going up against a passing team now. Like you said on the show previously, we've been going up against running teams, okay, and the Bills have done well. Now we're going up against a passing team. A team that we may have to run into later on is the Chargers, who is a great passing team, and they're comfortable right now. So definitely Bills Mafia need to keep an eye out on what's going on in L.A. because they definitely cooking out there for sure, bro.
Maybe it's the AFC Championship game. We could call it the Stevie Bowl.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Who gonna be able to make it to Santa Clara? Who gonna make it? Out
which
there?
it also would be a Stevie Bowl. Like there's a lot of Stevie ties right here. Before we go though, you are obviously going to be the legend of the game this week, and shout out to you again. So deserved. I feel like the man being like, I know the legend of the game. You are the legend of the game. What is tomorrow going to be like for you? Are you going to approach the day almost like you're a player again, or how are you going to handle it?
Yeah, brother, I am going to approach it like that, and I'm going to approach it like it's the last time because this will be the last time that I be able to introduce the Buffalo Bills in the Ralph, Highmark Stadium. So it's going to be special for sure. I've done this twice before, but I think this one's going to be the best one yet, considering, again, this is the last time, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, my favorite quarterback, will be in the building with Amazon, and I just think it's gonna be special, man. It's gonna be one of them moments for me for sure.
Do you know of any other Bills gonna be attending, or Fitzy's there with Amazon? Any of your other former teammates, or?
Yeah, I know. I heard George Wilson, my dog, is in.
Okay.
Terrence McGee just left yesterday. Who else is out here? Shout out my guy Donald Jones. He was just out here chilling. We was watching the Crawford Canelo fight. Yeah, a few of the guys
sick.
here. Eric Woods in town. Yeah, all the guys be around.
When you guys get together, is it just like no time has passed?
Yeah, not at all. Well, we also have the texts or emails where we always checking on the team throughout the weeks. Same thing with my Kentucky guys. It's like we haven't seen each other physically in I don't know how long, but the conversations are still going. So it's all love.
The Bills need to, and look, feel free to take my idea, Bills, but like the last game at the Ralph, there shouldn't be like a legend of the game. It should be like every Bills legend that could be in Buffalo today is here.
Wow, what a play,
that's what they
Guru.
Should do. Week 18 or whenever the last home game is.
Yeah, against the Jets. I feel like that's going to be the game where the Bills will be most frustrated because I'm going to say the Bills will suffer a loss the previous week against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hold up. For Bills fans that maybe didn't catch the previous show and they're like, Stevie's already predicting a loss, he is predicting that to be the first loss of the season. So 15-0 going into the matchup against the defending champs.
Yeah, and then we'll see what happens. Maybe the teams are a little bit different. Maybe the Philadelphia Eagles are rested, and if they are, the Buffalo Bills might just be that one and only team to go undefeated in this NFL, and then finish off against the Jets.
Look, so I want to ask you on that before we say goodbye, right? Like, you hear it all the time from fans and media people, like, you don't want to go into the playoffs undefeated, and all of this.
Trick that.
Is that actually a thing with players? Because I imagine you guys aren't going in being like, well, we're undefeated, we're going to win the Super Bowl now. Like, it feels like more of a narrative thing.
Yeah, it's really just one of them things that's wild. Like, dang, I can't believe nobody ever went undefeated, and things just happen like that. But I feel like there's a shift in the NFL overall. I mean, nowadays you got teams bantering with each other back and forth on social media. You got general managers, owners, coaches walking through the tailgates. It's a shift in the NFL and the flow. So I feel like those undefeated teams will start popping out, and it's going to begin with the Buffalo Bills if they can continue handling their business and then knock off the Philadelphia Eagles.
And it's not like I think the reason that narrative exists is because like, oh, they're going to get tight when they're in a close game. It's not like the Bills haven't already looked defeat in the eyes. Like,
right.
They had less than a 1% chance of winning week 1, and they won. Like, so yeah, like they've been battle tested like that before. And I know you were talking about how the NFL is different now than when you played. I feel like, look, you shined back then, but I feel like you would have shined even more in today's social media age.
Oh yeah, absolutely. On and off the field, definitely. I mean, I even think back to the greats before me, like Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed, and those guys. It's like, could you imagine if they had social media also? Like, Thurman was the MVP running back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's legendary. And the things that they were doing, man, like, I be thinking about myself in this time, but I even think about those guys. Like, man, y'all was pretty wicked. Even Darryl Talley, who had the Spider-Man sleeve on. I wish I would have been locked in even more so I can rock the sleeve when it was my turn. Like, there's so many things I missed out on, man. But yeah, it's beautiful though, just to be able to see the grind and the evolution of the Bills though.
Because I think back to when you were playing and stuff, and it was the no fun league and like the no celebrations and the like keep it on the field and don't talk off and now players have podcasts and like their own shows, and which I think is awesome because it showcases their personality. And I just think you would have been one of those players that would have made the most of a lot of these. Look, kudos to the new players. I'm very happy that they are getting this opportunity now and everything. I just think back and I'm like, man, it would have been great if it was like this 10 years ago.
Right. And it's all good though, because we still here now though. We here now, brother. Yeah, I love it. And I love it. I love the banter back and forth and what we got creating, man. It's a beautiful thing, though, at the end of the day.
So I am going to pull one thing I saw you say on social media. We don't usually do score predictions here, but I saw you made a score prediction.
Yeah.
I believe it was 45-10.
45-10, and I raised 3 points too. I was thinking 42, 41, 42, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna raise 3. I'm gonna go 45-10, and that's what I feel. Why I say 10? I felt like the Dolphins have been disrespected a lot this week, and I'm gonna give them a field goal and a touchdown. You know, I'm gonna let them start off the game with a 6 and then get a field goal. But I don't even believe in that 10. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I was going to say, I believe in the 45. I'll give the Dolphins 17, but I think it would be 10 when the starters leave the game. And
makes sense. Okay, good one.
Kind of like the Jets last week. You know, like they get that backdoor touchdown. Like, because Miami's going to keep their starters out there. They're not going to pull their guys.
That's true. But then I kind of don't know, because how you said even Tyreek is the most influential in this generation. He can still take himself out the game, you know? And I mean like mentally take himself out the game, which is like writing on the wall. It's time for him to go elsewhere and rejuvenate his career, because he's a great talent, and we can see the frustration. And I mean, it's cool to get these dubs and stuff, but I mean, you really don't want to see players like that just rotting away. So yeah, they got to do something out there.
45-10, he might take himself out of the game physically. He might be like, I'm not my. So a lot of people are also saying what you just said. He needs to move on. And I think if Miami keeps losing, they trade him. My biggest fear is he gets traded back to the Chiefs.
Yes, please do not let that happen. It sounds good, and I love it for the league, and I love it for him to get back, but I do not like the sound of that with him going back to the Kansas City Chiefs for sure.
And with the Chiefs being 0-2, I've already seen someone be like, watch, this will be the year the Bills get the 1 seed and the 7 seed is the Chiefs. And I'm like, no. Like, please don't let that happen.
Man, but then if it do happen, it's going to be a hell of a game, and I can't wait to see that matchup. Yeah, I can't wait.
I don't know if you feel this way. I said this last year. Like, I'm almost sad the Eagles beat the Chiefs, because if someone is going to knock them down, it feels only right that it would be the Bills.
Yeah, facts. I'm with you on that, Guru. I'm with you on that.
Anything else for this game or for the people before we say goodbye, legend?
No, look, I'm just going to let y'all know, man, before this sweet victory happened, make sure you guys log on to cigarmafia.com so that you can get your own sweet victory cigars and you can enjoy victory in style with us. And if you guys are in Buffalo area, there's 3 locations. Let me check it out. We got Orchard Park. We have a location in Amherst and downtown. So downtown 500 Main, Amherst 7032 Transit Road, and in Orchard Park 2011 Southwestern Boulevard. Make sure y'all tap in with the Cigar Mafia, man, and enjoy y'all sweet victories.
Have one ready for tomorrow night. It sounds like we both think you're going to need it. And look, Bills fans, if you are attending the game, get there bright and early, because you do not want to miss Stevie as the legend of the game. We're going to be putting some stuff out on social media and stuff like that, hyping up our guy. It is so deserved. It is such a cool honor. And I just wish I could be there to see it, but I hope you have a great time with it, and I hope the game goes as we both think it's going to.
All love, man. I'll send some videos for the Banter community. All love.
We're going to have to put it on social media, and we'll be back again later this week with a recap, hopefully a happy one with the legend of the game. But, yeah, that'll do it for us today. As always, I appreciate you guys listening, and let's banter.
Peace.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Bills Banter on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.